Anyway, I was just finished up a segment about the hostage phenomenon. I was talking about truth, truth and lies, and how lies confuse truth, and that lies come from other people lying to you and from you lying to yourself. And it's pretty, it's easy for you to understand, for most people to understand and envision what it is for someone else to give you a lie, or to lie to you, and what that means and how it affects you. I'm going to talk more about that later. But anyway, that one's easy. What's hard for most people is to understand what it means to lie to yourself, and understand what it means, what the impact is of lying to yourself is. Particularly those people who deny God, deny to themselves that lying brings about suffering. And when you deny that lying and killing and stealing, so on and so forth, when you deny that those things bring suffering to you and to those to whom you act upon, is to deny love, is to deny God. But that's another matter. Anyway, and what I was saying was it's a whole lot easier for people in general to understand what it means to be lied to by another person than it is for people in general to understand what it means to lie to themselves and what the consequences can be, how they manifest from lying to yourself. But people understand movies, and I like movies, and you like movies, and one of my favorite movies is The Godfather, the trilogy. And a lot of people are familiar with that. And there is, perhaps the most noteworthy and theme-setting line in the first Godfather movie was when Michael Corleone implies that there is a difference between business and personal. When he implies that which is business and that which is personal is different. And fact is, there is no difference. That's a lie. That's a lie. The truth is, there is no difference between business and personal. Michael knew this truth in his youth, but as he came to commit his first murder, he lied to himself that business wasn't personal. And ever since then, his life got worse and worse, culminating in the third movie's ending, the murder of Michael's daughter. A murder that was a direct result of this lie of Michael's. Now, his father, Vito, learned this truth as he witnessed the murder of his own mother. But both Vito and Michael cursed themselves with their lies against that truth. They both lied to themselves, or began to lie to themselves, when they committed their first murders, knowing the truth beforehand that there's no difference between business and personal. That's why Michael wanted to stay out of his family. out of the family business. And that's what Vito knew in fact when his mother was murdered in front of him, after his brother was murdered, at his father's funeral, after his father was murdered, and all by the same man. Because there is no difference between business and personal. Michael knew that. Well, his character, Michael Corleone, knew that, but he held on to it. He had a bill on top of it because he wouldn't leave it. Because there is no difference between business and personal. Now, how many times have you seen that movie? And how much faith do you put in this movie's or that movie's wisdom? And how many idols have you created in the image of that movie? And how many of you continue to lie to yourselves that there is a difference between business and personal? Now, continuing and briefly in this conversation about truth, what it is, the nature of truth, lies, and this hostage situation. We'll follow that movie, which is an untruth. You know, it's not the truth. It's a depiction of what happened. It's not the in fact what happened. In that capacity, it is a lie. Inescapably a lie. But what is not inescapably a lie is the recent removal and movement of removals of Confederate monuments for whatever the reasons. And the removal of these Confederate monuments present the opportunity of what now? And the people, all the people, men, sense the need to fill the voids left by the Confederate monument removals, or to remain there, for them to remain there, because they have voids in their understanding of truth and their understanding of leadership and their understanding of love. You know, the whole Confederate monument phenomenon is captivating audiences across America and across the Western Pond, the Atlantic, and has called attention to why monuments were and are to be erected at all. You know, because we're questioning what to put up, if to put up, why to put up. You know, what to put up leads to if to put up leads to why to put up. And it's all part and parcel of the same what now. And I'm going to close this, that Confederate monument thought. Well, just to talk about it with two key thoughts. First, Southern states are still the poorest in the United States, and whether or not the economic fears of the Confederate cause have come to fruition, slavery is an evil abomination and a blight upon all men. And second, when you're thinking about how to fill those voids that you have, think about what Jesus said. Because Jesus said some pretty good things. And if you don't know, you need to know. There's enough Bibles in the world for probably for every person to have two. Go grab yourself one, open it up, and read it. Because as I'm going to say later, whether tomorrow is the end of days, right, of all days, or just the end of your days, the only thing that's happening this time is getting shorter. And nobody knows when it's going to happen. Except that it's getting closer and closer. So anyway, pick up that Bible. But Jesus said in Luke, Gospel of Luke, chapter 11, verse 47 through 48, when you're thinking about how to fill your voids, if you're worried about what you're going to put up in place, if you're thinking, what am I going to put up in place? What should be put up in place of those Confederate monuments that we just took down? Which is the same thing as should we keep them up? Which all involves the same question of what should we put there? How should we put it there? Why should we put it there? And why should we put anything there? And this is what he said. Woe to you! You build memorials of the prophets whom your ancestors killed. Consequently, you bear witness and give consent to the deeds of your ancestors, for they killed them, and you do the building. You do the building. Lee Circle down here in New Orleans was a big one for us. Robert E. Lee is very beloved figure, if you will, of the Confederacy. That's a whole other issue. But anyway, Lee Circle is a big statue of Robert E. Lee in the middle of a circle that you have to drive around, which is pretty close to the heart of the city. And so there's your backdrop, there's your setting. So driving around Lee Circle, maybe you do it for work, maybe it's your habit just to drive around that particular area, maybe it's your ritual. It's all that. And you've been looking at Robert E. Lee for all these years and have taken him down because of what he represented in human enslavement, in exploitation, and in murder, and so on. You took him down because his statue, his idea, and the thought of him oppressed everyone, as it promoted his sins and enslaved you through today to his lies. When again you go to fill your voids, even the memorialization of those who were slaughtered and oppressed will enslave you to the lies of their oppressors and the lies of their murderers. So let me ask you, what is it that you want to center your habits, your driving patterns, your behavior, your thoughts, your ideas, your rituals? What is it that you want to center them around at what remains of Lee Circle, or any of the circles or squares, parkways? What ideas and thoughts can you circle around every day and not become a slave to, not become oppressed by, or controlled by? What is it that you could circle around every day, day after day, that would free you other than God and other than love? If you're going to have to put something there to circle around and ritual around and habit around, what can you put in that circle that won't enslave you other than God, other than love? Think about that when you go to fill them voids. Before you fill it with another void. Maybe you don't think it's your void. Maybe they think it's your void. And maybe you think they got voids that they don't think that they have either. But maybe y'all just both swapping voids. What is it that you could circle around every day, day after day, that would free you other than God, other than love? And what is love? We'll talk about what love is later. People wonder, I don't know what love is. And then they wonder, how do I love? We don't have an instruction on how to love. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You have instructions on how to love. But we're going to talk about that. But to close out, I guess, to wrap up this hostage situation of truth. There are a number of you who are out there to give truth. And to those of you who give that truth, don't give it like the wicked give their lies. Their delivery and methods are part of their lie. Because speaking the truth, you and your speaking of the truth is part of the hearing of the truth to those whom you speak. Part of how they hear with their ears and their eyes. You give the truth of how the wicked control your minds with lies and how they infiltrate the good with those lies through trauma-based methods, reinforced with repetitious reminders and the imposing shock and awe on those they seek to lead. But wicked results come from wicked methods, and good results come from good methods. And good results can only be achieved through good methods. Just as lies lead to other and more lies and bigger lies, only giving truth through love leads to more truth and love. A lot to think about. Just chew on it for a while. Wrap it around that brain. Wrap it around that brain. You can do it. Let's hope you can do it. But back to those who give the truth. Let what you speak to their ears be what you speak to their eyes. Love them as you are instructed to love by the 10 Commandments and shown how to keep them by Jesus. Don't lie to them. Don't cheat them out of anything. Don't steal them. Don't steal from them. Don't steal out their pockets, and don't steal out their hearts. You tell them how they are led astray. But you show them how you are led astray. Release yourselves from your own lies, and you will release them from theirs. Back to Jesus. It was a parable or something, probably in all the Gospels, 3 out of 4 of them. Where he says, well, who can remove a splinter from his brother's eye without first taking the wooden beam out of his own? You want to take that splinter out of your brother's eye? Great. But go take that wooden beam out of yours first. Or you're not going to be able to see the splinter in your brother's eyes. And a lot of times that doesn't don't make sense to anybody. They think, gee whiz, well, I got a wooden beam in my eye. Because this is the way God talks to you, so that you put thought into it, so that you get out of it when you analyze what it is He has told you. You get out of it meaning by taking the journey to understand it. And you take journeys with your feet just like you take journeys with your mind, with your heart. Think about that. And where can you really discover some things if not only in your own heart? There are some things that a lot of people look for out there in a lot of different places, over the ends of the earth, for a trinket, for this or that, or something that they're lying to themselves in some way about it not all coming down to something that they can only find in their own heart. Back to the meaning about that splinter and that beam. To you idiots that think that it doesn't make any sense because he said a beam in your eye. If you got a splinter in your eye, a little splinter in your little eye, it looks like a big beam, doesn't it? Because a little splinter is to your little eye like a big beam is to your big body. So to you, as you're looking at your brother, calling it a splinter, you don't realize that a splinter is a beam, and you got one in your own eye. So, the next segment, I'm going to start with a letter that I wrote. And, well, before I get to that, let me finish up with the, I'm not finished with you people that tell the truth out there. And I don't want to name you by names, but damn it, you know who the hell you are. Do I really need to name you by names? A lot of you guys seem to be doing good, and I'm not judging you, because the good that you do speaks for itself, just like the bad that you do speaks for itself. You're trying to free people from lies because you love people, and that's beautiful. And I'm trying to help you do that. And what I'm trying to tell you is, the more lies you free yourself from, the more lies you can free those whom you seek to free from. Because the closer than what you're speaking with your mouth to their ears will be what they're seeing with their eyes from your actions. And it all comes from your heart. And I know your heart's is wanting and is doing the right thing in bringing and finding and giving truth. And part of giving truth is how you give it. How you give it. Just like part of their lies is how they give it. And what is a lie? And what is truth? Reject all lies that you can. The ones they tell you and the ones that you tell yourself. Then you can give them truth. Embrace your love through God, and then you will give them the truth. They layer, and you know this, they layer their lies with misplaced truth because they do not embrace the love in their hearts, and therefore they cannot give truth because they cannot give love. You can only give truth with the giving of love, because you can layer that truth in lies to feed someone, and you're not giving them love because you're giving them lies, because you're slipping the lies in there with truths that aren't the whole truth. And givers of truth, think of this. When a father hands his son something that the son could hurt himself with or others, does the father not give it to him with love, with instruction, with guidance, so that none are harmed? Even the wicked do this for their children. And how much more will the Father of heaven, God, do for his children? And so to you men who seek to give truth, I say to you, how will you give truth without love? You cannot separate the two. Thank you. Thank you for seeking truth. Thank you for giving truth. Thank you for having courage to live through the truths of their lies that they have imposed upon you to bring us the truth. Thank you. Thank you all.